Hey y'all, welcome back. We in another session here. I hope you're having a great night. Because I am having a wonderful time. And we are here to do another reading. That good condensation. Another reading. And we are in Joshua, the 17th chapter. So, we recap. Let's recap. Chapter 15 talked of the land that was given to the tribe of Judah and Caleb and the towns allotted to Judah. Chapter 16 talked about the land given to Ephraim and West Manasseh, or Manasseh. Now we're in chapter 17. So now we're going to talk about the land given. We're going to go back into that. So, talking about the land given to Manasseh. Why is it acting like that? Take that off. I don't want that on there. I hope that's not messing up anything. Well, I hope that's not showing. Oh, there it go. It erased. Okay, you got it here. Okay, so chapter 17. The next allotment of land was given to the half tribe of Manasseh. The descendants of Jacob's older son, Machir, the firstborn of Manasseh, was the father of Gilead. There is a balm in Gilead. Yes. Okay. And because his descendants were experienced soldiers, the regions of Gilead and Bashan on the east side of Jordan had already been given to them. So the allotment on the west side of the Jordan was for the remaining families within the clans of the tribe of Manasseh: Abiezer, Helik, Asiriel, Shechem, Hepher, and Shemitah. These clans represent the male descendants of Manasseh, son of Joseph. However, Zelophehad, a descendant of Hepher, son of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, had no sons. He only had daughters whose names were Mala, Noah, Hagla, Milcah, and Tirzah. And I was like, am I in the right place? Because, of course, I've read the story before. These women came to Eleazar, the priest, Joshua, son of Nun, and the Israelite leaders and said, the Lord commanded Moses to give us a grant of land along with the men of our tribe. So Joshua gave them a grant of the land along with their uncles as the Lord had commanded. As a result, Manasseh's total allocation came to 10 parcels of land in addition to the land of Gilead and Bashan across the Jordan River, because the female descendants of Manasseh received a grant of land along with the male descendants. The land of Gilead was given to the rest of the male descendants of Manasseh. The boundary of the tribe of Manasseh extended from the border of Asher to Mechmetheth near Shechem. Then the boundary went south from Mechmetheth to the settlement near the spring of Tappuah. The land surrounding Tappuah belonged to Manasseh, but the town of Tappuah itself, on the border of Manasseh's territory, belonged to the tribe of Ephraim. From the spring of Tappuah, the boundary of Manasseh followed the Cana ravine in the Mediterranean Sea. Several towns south of the ravine were inside Manasseh's territory, but they actually belonged to the tribe of Ephraim. In general, however, the land south of the ravine belonged to Ephraim. The land north of the ravine belonged to Manasseh. Manasseh's boundary ran along the north side of the ravine and ended up at the Mediterranean Sea. North of Manasseh was the territory of Asher, and to the east was the territory of Issachar. The following towns within the territory of Issachar and Asher, however, were given to Manasseh: Beshan, Ebelim, Dor, that is Nephoth Dor, Endor, Tanakh, and Megiddo, each with their surrounding settlements. But the descendants of Manasseh were unable to occupy these towns because the Canaanites were determined to stay in that region. Later, however, when the Israelites became strong enough, they forced the Canaanites to work as slaves, but they did not drive them out of the land. The Canaanites of Joseph came to Joshua and said, "Why have you given us only one portion of land as our homeland when the Lord has blessed us with so many people?" Joshua replied, "If there are so many of you, and if the hill country of Ephraim is not large enough for you, clear out land for yourselves in the forest with the Perizzites and the Rephites, where the Perizzites and Rephites live." The descendants of Joseph responded, "It's true that the hill country is not large enough for us, but all the Canaanites in the lowlands have iron chariots, both those in Beth Shan and its surrounding settlements, and those in the valley of Jezreel. They are too strong for us." Then Joshua said to the tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh, the descendants of Joseph, "Since you are too large and too strong, you will be given more than one portion. The forest of the hill country will be yours as well. Clear as much of the land as you wish and take possession of the farthest corners, and you will drive out the Canaanites from the valleys too, even though they are strong and have iron chariots." Chapter 18, Allotments of Remaining Land. Now that the land was under Israelite control, the entire community of Israel gathered at Shiloh and set up the tabernacle. But there remain 7 tribes who have not yet been allotted their grants of land. Then Joshua asked them, "How long are you going to wait before taking possession of the remaining land the Lord, the God of your ancestors, has given you? Select 3 men from each tribe, and I will send them out to explore the land and map it out. They will then return and to let me with a written They will return to me with a written report of their proposed divisions of their new homeland. Let them divide the land into 7 sections, including Judah's territory in the south and Joseph's territory in the north. And when you record the 7 divisions of the land and bring them to me, I will cast sacred lots in the presence of the Lord our God to assign land to each tribe. The Levites, however, will not receive any allotment of land. Their role as priests of the Lord is their allotment, and the tribes of Gad, Reuben, and the half-tribe of Manasseh won't receive any more land, for they have already received their grant of land, which Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave them on the east side of the Jordan River. As the men started on their way to map out the land, Joshua commanded them, "Go and explore the land and write a description of it. Then return to me, and I will assign the land to the tribes by casting sacred lots here in the presence of the Lord at Shiloh." The men did as they were told and mapped the entire territory into 7 sections, listing the towns in each section. They made a written record and then returned to Joshua in the camp of Shiloh. And there at Shiloh, Joshua cast sacred lots in the presence of the Lord to determine which tribe should have each section. The land given to Benjamin, verse 11. The first allotment of land went to the clans of the tribe of Benjamin. It lay between the territory assigned to the tribes of Judah and Joseph. The northern boundary of Benjamin's land began at the Jordan River, went north to the slope of Jericho, then west through the hill country of the wilderness of Beth-aven. From there, the boundary went south to Luz, which is Bethel, and proceeded down to Ataroth, Adair, on the hill that lies south of Lower Beth-horon. The boundary then made a turn and swung south along the western ridge of the hill facing Beth-horon. ending at the village of Kiriathbaal, that is Kiriath Jearim, a town belonging to the tribe of Judah. This was the western boundary. The southern boundary began at the outskirts of Kiriath Jearim. From the western point, it ran to the spring at the waters of Nephtoah and down to the base of the mountain beside the valley of Ben Hinnom. At the northern end of the valley of Rephaim, from there it went down to the valley of Hinnom, crossing south of the slope where the Jebusites lived, and continued down to Enrogel. From Enrogel, the boundary proceeded in a northerly direction and came to En Shemesh and on to Gililoth, which is across from the slopes of Adumim. Then it went down to the stone of Bohan. Bohan was Reuben's son. From there it passed along the north side of the slope, overlooking the Jordan Valley. The border then went down into the valley, ran past the north slope of Beth Hogla, and ended up at the north bay of the Dead Sea, which is the southern end of the Jordan River. This was the southern boundary. The eastern boundary was the Jordan River. These were the boundaries of the homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Benjamin. These were the towns given to the clans of the tribe of Benjamin: Jericho, Beth Hogla, and Mechkeziz, Betharaba, Zemaraim, Bethel, Avim, Para, Ophrah. We was reading about Gideon earlier on my Facebook page about Ophrah. Okay. Kephar, Omani, Ophni, and Jeba. 12 towns with their surrounding villages, also Gibeon, Ramah, Baroth, Mizpah, Kephara, Moza, Rakem, Erpel, Tarala, Zela, Halef, the Jebusite town, that is Jerusalem, Gibeah, and Kiriath Jearim, 14 towns with their surrounding villages. This was the homeland allotted to the clans of the tribe of Benjamin. Woo! Y'all, that's a lot of words, I'm telling you. All right, next we're going to be in chapter 19, probably, and 20. Should I do another one? It's kind of, I think we do chapter 19. No, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. 1920, maybe 21. Trying to make it even so when we read our thing, 22, 23, 24. Yeah, so when we read our thing, we'll be reading that in a chapter, because our next one is Judges. We read about Gibeon. I was reading Gibeon earlier. All right, so next we're going to be in chapter 19. I love you. Nothing you can do about it. And I'll see you next time.